When the monkeys see Sejun standing in the rain, they immediately become angry. They raise their wooden clubs and demand to know who he is. Sejun looks completely confused and only responds with a puzzled sound. At that moment, Theo quickly steps between them. Raising both paws into the air, he tries to calm everyone down. He explains that they should relax because he is the tower's wandering merchant. However, the monkeys remain suspicious. They continue banging their sticks against the ground and demand that everyone stop and wait. Seeing the situation becoming tense, Sejun quickly stretches out his hand to stop the monkeys. He tells them that Theo is his friend. The moment Theo hears those words, he becomes emotional with happiness and calls out to President Park. Sejun immediately picks Theo up in his arms. Still surprised, Sejun asks how Theo has ended up in such a place. Theo proudly shows him a compass and explains that he came there by using the compass Mr. Kaiser gave him. He further explains that Kung, ox number 4, and ox number 5 traveled with him. Unfortunately, a single swing from a gorilla's fan sends everyone flying through the air and scatters them across different locations. One of the monkeys awkwardly scratches his head and explains that the attack is definitely the work of Gorin, the chief of the gorilla tribe. Hearing everything Theo has gone through, Sejun feels sorry for him and comments that Theo has really suffered a lot. While holding Theo in his arms, Sejun begins thinking about what they should do next. After thinking for a moment, Sejun turns toward the monkeys and asks them for a favor. He explains that his friends are somewhere on that floor and describes them as a black bull and a red bear. He instructs the monkeys to spread out and search for them. The monkeys immediately shout their agreement with great enthusiasm. Without wasting any time, they run off in every direction to begin the search. Theo watches everything with wide eyes. Amazed by what he sees, he asks how President Park has somehow become the god of the monkeys. Sejun simply chuckles and replies that he has his own methods. Just then, a notification window suddenly appears. It informs him that the monkeys who have illegally occupied the farm have been peacefully removed and that Sejun has officially been recognized as the rightful owner of the land. Another reward notification appears and activates the farmland information feature. After opening the information window, Sejun looks around in surprise and realizes that the entire area is actually his banana farm. As he stares at the enormous banana trees standing before him, he decides that it is time to bring them back to life. The moment Sejun touches one of the giant trees, another notification appears. The message informs him that the banana tree is sick and requires energy in order to continue growing. Sejun stares at the message in surprise and lets out a confused sound. Immediately afterward, a class quest appears before him. Class quest: give energy to the banana trees and help them overcome their disease. Reward: class skill, farmer's warm touch. Failure: death of the sick banana trees. Seeing the quest, Sejun becomes interested. He wonders what exactly he needs to do to provide energy to the trees and earn the new class skill. Theo smiles confidently and declares that giving energy is his specialty. Stretching out his soft paw, Theo slaps the tree while encouraging it to stay strong. Theo's paw glows with a golden light. Unfortunately, the moment his paw touches the tree, the banana tree actually receives slight damage. A notification window immediately appears. It explains that because of Theo's stimulant paw strike, the tree has become even angrier and weaker than before. Seeing this result, Sejun angrily calls Theo an idiot. Theo nervously stares at the tree and complains that it is a very strange tree. He explains that President Park always feels better whenever he receives that treatment. He even remembers how effective a paw massage usually is. Before the argument can continue, Bat suddenly flies over to Sejun. Bat suggests using music. After considering the idea for a moment, Sejun allows it. Bat and the other bats immediately begin circling around the sick banana tree. While flying through the air, they start singing. They encourage Miss Banana Tree to stay strong. Keep hanging on, remain healthy, and continue producing delicious bananas. Theo crosses his arms and pouts with jealousy. He admits that the song is cute but insists that there is no way it will actually work. To his complete shock, a notification window suddenly appears. The message states that the tree has gained a small amount of energy because of the peaceful sounds. Theo is completely stunned. Meanwhile, Sejun happily praises Bat for doing a great job. Encouraged by the praise, Bat and the other bats continue flying around the tree while singing their cheerful song. Nearby, one of the monkeys hears the music and happily begins dancing. Watching everyone work so hard, Sejun becomes motivated. Declaring that it is now his turn, he activates his skill. A brilliant golden light erupts from his body. Stretching both hands forward, Sijuan uses Stimulate Growth. The instant the skill activates, golden waves spread throughout the gigantic banana trees. One after another, the trees become healthy, lush, green, and full of life once again. Soon afterward, 3 notification windows appear. The first announces that the tree has recovered its energy. The second informs him that he has completed the class quest. The third informs him that he has obtained the class skill called Farmer's Warm Touch. Sijuan jumps into the air with joy and celebrates his success. Curious about the reward, he immediately opens the skill description. The details explain that Farmer's Warm Touch can cure sick trees simply through physical contact. A nearby monkey looks astonished after seeing Sijuan's miracle. Sijuan smiles and comments that it is the perfect skill for the current situation. Without wasting another second, he stretches out his hand enthusiastically and declares that he will give it everything he has. Meanwhile, inside the tower's control room, Eileen sits with tears in her eyes. Filled with worry, she wonders what she should do. The giant black dragon Kaiser gently tries to comfort his granddaughter and tells her to calm down. However, Eileen remains deeply concerned. She admits that she is extremely worried about Sijuan. Kaiser reassures her that Sijuan has grown much stronger than before. He also reminds her that the reliable companions from the 99th floor have already gone out to search for him. Even after hearing that, Eileen sadly lowers her head. Kaiser becomes silent and thinks carefully. Suddenly, an idea appears in his mind. He suggests granting Sijuan a new authority remotely. Eileen immediately widens her eyes in surprise and repeats the words, "new authority," in disbelief. Standing beside the library, Kaiser explains that Park Sijuan carries the Intermediate Administrator's badge. Because of that, he can receive a new authority even while staying on another floor. Eileen quickly pulls a thick ancient book from one of the enormous bookshelves. Seeing her immediate reaction, Kaiser looks surprised and asks whether she is really going to search for one right away. Flipping through the old pages as fast as possible, Eileen nervously asks if he is sure about this plan. Kaiser reminds her that, as she already knows, granting a second authority is not a simple matter. Even so, Eileen insists that there is no other choice. She declares that Sijuan's safety is the most important thing. Kaiser quickly states that he will not take responsibility for any consequences. Eileen replies that Sijuan will surely understand. She continues turning pages until she suddenly stops at a specific section. Her eyes lock onto an authority capable of strengthening an indestructible body. A bright smile immediately appears on her face. Convinced that she has found the perfect choice, she silently prays that Sijuan will return safely. Without wasting another moment, Eileen begins casting the spell. A gigantic blue magical portal appears before her. Brilliant streams of light burst out from the portal and travel through the tower, crossing floor after floor as they rush towards Sijuan. Back at the banana farm, all of the sick trees suddenly burst into bloom. The monkeys cry out in amazement. They dance excitedly and celebrate the fact that the banana trees have finally come back to life. In contrast, Sijuan bends over in complete exhaustion. Sweat pours down his body. Breathing heavily, he realizes that he has nearly exhausted all of his magic power just to save 10 trees. Looking at the countless remaining trees, he wonders how long it will take to save all of them. At that moment, Bat and the other bats fly over and encourage their master to stay strong because they will remain by his side. Theo also quietly approaches. He hugs Sijuan and encourages him to keep going. Seeing the support of his friends, Sijuan smiles warmly and thanks them. Then he raises his head and admits that their encouragement makes him feel full of energy. A nearby monkey also raises both hands and cheers for him. Suddenly, enormous blue magical waves begin pouring into Sijuan's body. Startled, he looks around in confusion. The magic sent by Eileen begins merging directly with him. Several notification windows appear one after another. The tower administrator has granted the authority called Strengthened Magic Circuit to the Intermediate Administrator's badge. Authority: Strengthened Magic Circuit. Regardless of physical potential, magic power plus 50. Current magic power attribute plus 5%. Magic recovery speed plus 150%. Effects of magic power increasing items plus 50%. As the powerful authority enters his body, Sijuan's eyes begin glowing with a brilliant blue light. Looking upward excitedly, he shouts that he is overflowing with energy. Placing one hand against a banana tree, He declares that he feels capable of using his skills all day long. Golden magical light immediately bursts from his palm. Powerful waves of energy spread outward in every direction. Watching this miracle, a small monkey approaches him. Filled with gratitude, the monkey thanks him and respectfully addresses him as the being of prophecy. Sejun smiles slightly and humbly replies that it is nothing. Then, without warning, a purple system notification window suddenly appears before him. Authority cost. 100 million tower coins deposited in the seed bank have been deducted. The instant the notification appears, countless golden coins begin raining down from the sky as the payment is withdrawn. When Sejun sees the amount, he freezes completely. His face becomes pale with shock. The entire atmosphere around him seems to change. Terrifying blue lightning crackles throughout the surroundings. Sejun violently jerks backward and screams in disbelief. At that moment, the story shifts to a gigantic crimson rocky mountain. Hidden deep inside the mountain is a dark cave that once serves as an abandoned Magic Association stone mine. Vice Master Genoba and Iona carefully travel deeper into the cave. Looking around, Iona recognizes the location as an abandoned mine belonging to the Magic Association. As she examines the cave walls, she observes that countless layers of magical energy overlap throughout the area. She remarks that nobody would expect a sacred stone to exist in such a place. Walking carefully ahead of her, Genoba agrees. He explains that he was also surprised, but the Magic Association is certain that a sacred stone exists deep underground. Iona pauses and thinks quietly. She raises her magical staff, which begins glowing with a yellow light and illuminates the darkness around them. As they continue deeper into the cave, she comments that the darkness is becoming thicker and thicker. She also remarks that if they successfully find the sacred stone, they will obviously have to hand it over to the Magic Association. However, only moments later, her thoughts drift toward Sejun. She begins wondering how Mr. Sejun might use the sacred stone if he receives it. Realizing what she is thinking, she becomes embarrassed. Quickly shaking her head, she scolds herself for having such thoughts while serving as the president of the Mage Association. Holding her glowing staff firmly, she continues walking. Soon afterward, she mentions that the outside weather has been unbearably hot because of the sun. Yet inside the cave it feels strangely cold even for an underground cavern. Iona turns around. To her surprise, she cannot see anyone behind her. The darkness completely swallows the path. Concerned, she calls out and asks whether Vice Master Genoba is all right. No answer comes. The cave remains silent. Growing more worried, she calls his name again, this time much louder. At that very moment, a crimson teleportation light suddenly erupts outside the cave. Elsewhere, Genoba's expression completely changes. A dangerous smile appears on his face as he silently apologizes to Lady Iona in his mind. In the very next second, a massive explosion erupts. Fire and destruction spread throughout the area. Genoba steps forward with a terrifying grin. His eyes glow red and yellow with intense rage. Shaking with excitement and fury, he declares that from that moment onward, he, Genoba, will become the master of the Gravity Magic Tower. After making that declaration, he begins laughing in a strange and sinister manner like a true villain.